Alright guys, welcome back. So we're going to be talking about how to finally apply for your license. So I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys two links in the description. And these two links are going to be here, the forms and applications from the CSLB. And this is going to be another one right here. So this is the steps that the CSLB considers for applying for a contractor's license. And this is before you apply, so this is going to give you the same rundown that I gave you in the videos, the same thing. It's going to be on here. Okay, what happens if your application gets returned for correction? What happens if your application is accepted? Okay, you're going to get your fingerprint scanned. So you're going to start to study for the examination. And by the way, this should be the first step. I don't know why they have it here. They're going to issue your license, and you can always check your application status, right? Okay, so we're going to go back to the forms and applications page. So this is pretty much going to tell you the cost, where you're gonna send your information to. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to application for original license. So there's three ways of doing this. You can order a paper online and they'll send it to you, and all you do is mail it back. Or you can use the PDF, fill it out, and then mail it. Or you could fill it online, print it, and mail it. I mean, these are the same thing, honestly, but except this one's a little bit more of a. It's made step by step, and this is the PDF. This is the one I did, as I feel it's just straight to the point. So go ahead and give this a read. It's just letting you know that it has to be you that does the application, or the applicant, or the qualifying individual. So, it's going to tell you fill it out, sign the form, submit your work that have been filled out. If you got more, you can always use more. All you got to do is go to here to the form, certification of work. If you're an owner builder, you're applying for a general building, your construction project experience, you're going to need that for this. If you are convicted of a crime, you can always go ahead and look for, let me see. There's a, what's it called? There's a workers' compensation insurance, contractor bond, request. Alright, I can't find it here right now, but I'll go ahead and put it on the description. And all this does is just that if you've been convicted of a crime, you can report what it is sorry about that. It's right here. Disclosure statement regarding criminal plea conviction. All this is for the CSLB to determine whether you shall pretty much be if they should allow you to get your license. If your crime isn't too bad, they're gonna give it to you. Now, if you're some sort of like rapist or child molester, or I don't know, like a violent individual, probably not, because you're gonna be dealing with the public, right? They don't want people who are gonna cause issues. So let's go back to the PDF. Okay, so again, important notice regarding convictions. Okay, and I'm gonna give this right here. If you have ever been convicted of a crime, your criminal record information will be reported to the CSLB. This includes DUI and other vehicle code violations resulting in conviction, even if you plead no contest. A conviction is set aside, or a judgment deferred pursuant penal code section. Okay, so, and that's pretty much if your record's been expunged. Now, if you have been convicted of a crime or some sort of issue with the law, go ahead and give this a read. If you haven't, go ahead and skip down. Application for original contractor's license. Okay, so in this application you need to include $450 in tax. Okay, I mean in a check form. You could also do a money order. Okay, now it's non-refundable. That means once you send it out, then later on you don't want to do your license, you can't get your money back. Okay, you filled it out, and you understand by you sending this, you agree. Okay, it's going to give you, your business name, your classification, what you want to do, and it gives you a rundown of all the licenses that the state offers. Again, if you're applying for more, I think you have to do this individually, every application. So here it'll give you a rundown what the sole proprietorship right here, of what type of business it is. If you're having a qualifying individual, put as an owner. Again, I've read all this in my previous videos. This is all basic information, but they do give it to you again so you understand. You're gonna, again, it's telling you you're gonna get your fingerprints, reported. If you're ex-military or active, you get certain benefits as well. You get certain years taken off, or you could apply for this. Okay. If your immigration status. Okay, go ahead and give this all a read, but I'm just gonna skip down to everything, and I just wanna show you guys what to fill out, because this should be a little bit on your own time because it's honestly the same information, and I don't want to repeat it. Okay, so this is your original application. Okay, so your single classification, again, 450. Your initial license fee for the sole owner, that means you, the owner. So if you're a sole owner, they're gonna charge you $650. Now if you're I guess non-sole owner, this is where you add a partner, then it's gonna be $800. But they're still gonna charge you $450 only for the original license. Okay, so you don't gotta pay any of this until after they tell you to. Once you pretty much pass your test and did everything. Okay, you're gonna add your full new business name. So let's give an example. I don't know where, Southern California driveway remodel or something, right? Whatever it is, and you would just put it as that. Now, if you're not incorporated, so if you're not an LLC, you're not an S corp, or you're not a C corp, don't put anything else other than that. Okay, so you cannot. It's illegal to classify your business as incorporated or a company or any of that if you're not that. Okay, so then you're gonna put your business name, and this is your classification. So if you're gonna be a C33, I don't know, General B, right? General A, then you would put it here. If you're, I don't know, maybe C30 or something, I don't know, right? Whatever there is, whatever your license is, you would put it here. You're gonna put your business mailing address here. Okay, and you're also gonna put your business street address. No PO box. Okay, so this is where you can actually get your mailing, and this is where you be your actual business. So let's say you have a real business address and maybe you don't want to get a bunch of mail through there, you put it here for the PO box. I recommend using a PO box here for your mailing, and for your actual business, I would recommend, if you have an office, or maybe you want to do it out of your home, to do it here. Reason for that is so you don't get a bunch of mail. If you have a business phone number, an actual business phone number other than your own, put it here, as you will get a lot of solicited calls. So you're gonna get a bunch of calls from insurance companies trying to sell you their general liability. You're gonna get workers' comp calls, bond calls. You're gonna get home advisory calls, and believe me, you're gonna get a bunch of these companies. You might even get a bunch of texts telling you, I need my house remodeled in a city right next door to you, right? Even though once you tell them, give me your address, now they want to talk to you about how they want to sell you a service. So this is one of the reasons. Now, I used my personal phone number there, but I kind of regret it because of that. But after a while, you're gonna stop getting these calls, but it does take some time. This is where you're gonna put what sort of business your new license will be placed as. So I did mine sole proprietorship. Now again, you could always change it to a corporation or an LLC. You know, but if you go with an S corp or a C corp or limited liability first, then you're never going to be able to switch it back to sole ownership. So I recommend starting with this. I mean, unless you know what you're doing and you know you've been in the business for a couple of years and you know that this is it for you, this is what you want, then yes, go ahead and do your you know your LLC or do your S corp, whatever you plan on doing first. You know, apply for that, get your number that they're going to give you, and you know set it up here. Now it has to be done before you apply for the license, okay? And if you don't know how to do that, go to LegalZoom and you could do it there. And I'm not partnered with them either. It's just I'm just giving you guys information. Or maybe you guys want to set it up. You could always go to your city and they'll redirect you to certain companies that set it up for you. Okay, this is your information, your qualifier. You the qualifier applying for the license is where you're gonna put your information here. Last name, first name, middle, date of birth, social security, or I-10, where you live. If you've never had a license before, then you would put NA. You know, percentage of I don't know. You're gonna only put 100. Your driver's license, your residence phone number. Okay, so what are you gonna be? You the qualifying individual. What are you gonna be, right? So if you're gonna be a partnership, you put here. If you're gonna be an RME or an RMO, you put here. And if you're going to be an owner, which is obviously what most people are going to be, you put here. Okay, you know you kind of fill it in, and they're going to ask you for your date, signature, and printed date, and printed name. Sorry. Okay, you're gonna put personnel other than qualifying individual. Okay, so this here is nobody. This is for partners. Okay, if you're applying just for yourself, you don't gotta fill any of this out. None of this. Okay. Okay, required application questions. To your best of your knowledge, is anyone listed on this application or was or named responsible for unsatisfied final judgment liens? So pretty much, do you owe any money? Have you been sued? You know, have you been to court because of someone not following the law? So if you haven't, which hopefully you haven't, you put no. And if you have, you put yes, and they're going to ask you to write what happened. And here you look. So here you can see they're gonna ask for an explanation. So you're gonna have to attach a separate statement with all this information, right? Of why you were sued, or was it what type of project it was, that sort of thing. To the best of your knowledge, has anyone on this application or any company the person is or was part of ever received a citation or a contractor's license or professional or had a professional or vocational license or registration denied, suspended, revoked, or otherwise disciplined by the state or elsewhere? So has anybody had their license revoked for doing business? You know, contractor, nurse, I don't know, right? Anything associated with the state of California, especially from the CSLB. Then if you put yes, go ahead and make a statement. If you haven't, put no. Okay, to the best of your knowledge, has anyone in this application failed to resolve any outstanding final liability? So have you been sued and have you not paid back? If you put yes, obviously, I don't know why you're applying for this if you can't pay back, right? But if you haven't, you put no. Obviously, most of this is going to be no. This question must be answered by the qualifying individual. Okay, so direct supervision, control over construction operations, or combination of supervising construction. So are you gonna be responsible for your license and for the work you do? So obviously this is gonna be yes. You're gonna be responsible, right? And this question must be answered only if that qualifying individual is a responsible managing employee. So this is pretty much if you've given your license to your company, but you are still an employee, so you're gonna be there 80% of the time. So pretty much, are you gonna be there and do your part? You're gonna put yes. If you're not an RMO or an RME, I mean RME, sorry, then don't even worry about this. Just put no. Okay, if you're gonna qualify for your license here by yourself, put yes. Okay, the examinations are administered in English. Will you require the use of CSLB approved translator? If you can't speak English, they can offer you a translator. Now, the only thing they're gonna do is just read the question to you and read the answers to you, but they're not gonna help you answer the question. Okay? So think of this as what I'm doing right now. I'm reading the question, and then I'm telling you if you put yes or no, that's on you, right? Same thing. They're not gonna help you out. So if you need a translator, you put yes. Okay. Have you completed an educational or apprenticeship? Now, if you're a union, you more likely have, and they're gonna pretty much give you everything you need, right? You don't gotta worry about any of that, and you're gonna put yes. And then time from what time to there, and then we're gonna require a certificate of proof, and so a photocopy. Okay, so pretty much this says that it can't overlap the journeyman level experience from being. All right, so pretty much your apprenticeship program certificate is going to help you get it, but it's not going to go past the journeyman level. So if you weren't a journeyman, then you're not going to be able to apply for license. Now, do I think they're going to tell you anything? No, because if you've been a journeyman for 1 year in the union, then you pretty much seen the basic things that you need to get your license, right? Even as an apprentice. Believe me, there's more apprentices that I think that are capable of getting a license than journeymen. Okay, are you licensed in another state? If you are, you put yes. If you're not, you put no. Are you serving or have previously served in the United States military? If you have, you put yes. If you haven't, you put no. And if you have, then you go ahead and put your DD 214. That'd be your certificate of release or discharge from active duty, right? And it'd be a copy. And if you currently are, then you would get your current military orders. Okay, it must be answered only if the applicant is an individual applying for a sole owner business. Are you married or in a domestic partnership with an active duty member of the armed force? Okay, so are you married with anybody in the military? If you are, you put yes. If you haven't, you put no. Right. Okay. Were you admitted to the United States under the circumstances that's described? Were you granted asylum? Were you refugee? Uh, I don't know. Do you have a special visa or something? Right? Do you have a permit? If you are you, yeah, okay. Relating to the Iraq or who wrote that? Okay, so if you've, if you've been, if you have a permit or a visa from one of the Iraqi or Afghan translators, then you put yes. If you have it, you put no, and they're going to ask you to provide documentation, so proof, right? I guess most of this right here wouldn't apply to anybody. Other than that as well. Sorry, if you're also been granted asylum, or maybe you have a visa, then yes, you could also do it. Okay, you put yes. If you have a green card, well, never mind. I should say only if you have been granted asylum or admitted as a refugee pursuant. Okay, that's it. And there's only 3 areas: 1, 2, and 3. If you have any of those, you put yes. If no, you put no. Okay, this is your certification of work experience. Go ahead and read it out. So pretty much you're gonna have to keep a copy for yourself. Um, only 3% are checked randomly. It doesn't even say it has to be you. I mean, it could be anybody else but you. Who knows, right? So it's just randomly they're checked. And if you're lying about it and they check you off, that's on you. Qualifying individual is applicant. Okay. It's entirely before qualifying. Okay, so pretty much this is for you, the person applying for the test, and to your work experience and certification statement. Okay. So they're asked you. Here's who you can ask. Okay, so you're gonna have to get 4 years of experience at journeyman level. You can pretty much uh so your work experience has to be in journeyman level at the minimum, and you could go all the way up to contractor, right? But what the people you want to ask to fill this out, it should be most realistically you want to go for your boss. If I mean, if they tell you no, you can always go ahead and let them know. By law they're supposed to, because obviously you're working there, and they need to do their part as well. And if they're not, you can always go ahead and contact the CSLB, let them know that they don't want to qualify, they don't want to sign your paperwork. Um, that's one. Second one, you want to get your supervisors, your foreman. If you could get, I don't know, maybe a general contractor that gives your boss, who's a subcontractor, work. You could also get them if they're cool and they want to do it for you. Good. Maybe an inspector, right? A city inspector, or maybe a residential, commercial inspector, whoever. Just someone has a little bit of category to them, right? Um, you want to do that, and go ahead and fill this out right here again. Qualifier's name, the qualifier's full. This is your information, business name of company where you gain your experience from. So you put your company, license number of company. Okay, so their license, the qualifying. Okay, you're gonna put here the license of the company that you worked at. If they don't have a license, you could also go ahead and add them. Okay, the state of California isn't going to go after them, right? Just don't. I mean, it's don't lie about it, right? Just say, hey, instead of putting the business name, just put the person's name here, and put NA there, right? And you could use their print address. Again, this doesn't have to be a company, right? It could be your foreman, it could be your supervisor. So don't worry about that. Okay, you're gonna want to put their address, state and zip code. Was the experience obtained working on your own property? Again, if you're an owner builder, there's a separate form for you, okay, and it's in here. Okay, if you put yes, obviously they're gonna ask you for that form. Okay, if you put no, go ahead and put no, and that's it. You're not gonna do anything else. Work experience and certification statement. Okay, so this is for the person that's gonna sign your work to fill out. Okay, did you work full time or part time? Okay, boom, full time. From what date to what date? Okay, what does that equal to, right? How many years? How many months? Okay. In the space below, list all the specific trade duties applicant performed or supervised in the classification which way they are applying. Please refer to the description. Okay, so go ahead and put, if you're applying for your license, go ahead, C33, right? Or C30, whatever, and then put a dash, and then have your employer or supervisor or foreman or anybody who has seen your work, right? Where they see where you got that experience. List things that you did. What was your duties? What supervision did you have? What was your role in the company? Were you just a sweeper? Were you a prepper? Were you a foreman? Did you carry tools? Did you order materials? What are the things that the CSLB can see that you're worthy of the license, right? Were your projects, just $1,000, or were they, maybe a project worth $300,000, right? Maybe you ran a project, right, with your foreman, and the project was worth $1.3 million or something, right? Whatever it is that can just give the CSLB some proof, that you're a responsible person, and that if they give you this license, you're not going to be a hack that's going to screw everybody or scam people of legit payment and work. So what's your relationship to the person and to you, right? So your employer here or your foreman here or supervisor here can put what they are to you. So if they're your supervisor, they could put, this would be your name here, and they could put, oh, I'm his employer, I'm his journeyman, I'm a contractor, I'm a fellow employee, I'm a union representative, I'm a foreman supervisor, I'm a business associate. it doesn't have to just be your employer. It doesn't have to be your journeyman or foreman. It could also be another contractor. It could be, if you're in the union, it could be your union representative. If maybe, you got a guy, a fellow coworker, right, that, has been in the trade for 10 years or 15 years, they could sign it off for you too, and say, I put my name that this guy does do his job. Maybe you work for a, a management company, right? One that does maintenance and stuff. You could use one of those too. And certifiers, and this would be the person writing all this information. This would be the certifier, which should be the person that's gonna be writing what you do. You're gonna put their street address, their city, their phone number, fax number, email. If they don't got a fax, just put an A. And okay, so it's gonna ask for their date, signature, and printer name. And that's it. It seems complicated, but it really isn't. If maybe the person only has 1 year of work experience, you could print out another. Go to your forms right here to the link where I sent you. Look for certificate of work experience, and maybe you only worked with that person for 1 year, right? But you did the same job. Okay, so go get another copy of this form and fill it out as well, and have someone else do it and give you the other 3 years, right? It doesn't have to just be this copy, right? So don't worry about that. Okay, owner builder, general building construction project experience. Okay, so if you built your own home, right, and you think you're knowledgeable enough and qualified enough, you can fill this copy out. This is all for you. I didn't use this, so I can't really give you guys any information other than what's in here. You put your name, your project, where you did your project as, your structure, how many square footage, if you got a builder's permit. You're going to describe the full scope of work, the trade duties you performed yourself. What do you do? Do you install sheetrock? Do you install the HVAC unit? Explain what did you do, right? And, this is all it. I mean, it seems complicated, but it really isn't. Um, then what you're going to do after all this, get your checkbook, put it out to here, and you're going to mail it to this address here, okay? This is where they have the office, but you're going to send it here, okay? So put it in an envelope, in a tan envelope, those office envelopes, whatever, white, doesn't matter what color. Send it to this address here. Put a check with $450 in with it, and that's it. Okay, that's it. That's it. Oh, you don't gotta do anything else. Go ahead and wait your time. You should get a letter, the one with the acknowledgement that they received it within about maybe 2 weeks, and that's it. From there on, you're good. You're golden. If you've studied, I mean, it's pretty simple, And if you fail, don't worry about it. Study some more. Pay your $100 to retake it, and do your business right. Do it legally. So that's it. It seems complicated, but it's not. Don't let this thing scare you. All right, catch you guys later.